Couch Chats is a series of real, open, honest, and raw chats with some inspiring friends and women I have had the privilege to meet along my entrepreneurial journey. So I wanted to share these casual interview chats with you all to leave you feeling empowered and inspired. I am your host, Jess Williamson, a serial entrepreneur and business coach. And today, Cara from 180 Cakes is joining me. She is one of my amazing clients, but also an all-round chef genius because she has developed her very own cake mixes that are keto, diabetes friendly, gluten-free, sugar-free, you name it. They're amazing and they taste so good too. So Cara will be sharing a bit of her journey and some tips along the way. So let's get started. Yeah, thanks for joining me. You are my very first client that I've ever had on here. So I'm excited to chat to you a bit more and share a bit more of your journey with everyone else because you've done such an amazing job. So I guess the first place that I would love to start is with you telling us a little bit about how it all started. So your background is obviously a trained chef, but how did that go from being a chef into creating your own business and jumping headfirst into the entrepreneurial realm?
Absolutely. So as a chef who specialized in baking, I was incredibly unhealthy, as you can imagine. And I was sick and tired all the time. And that if I wanted to fix this, I had to change my diet. So in 2017, I cut out sugar and products that contain sugar from my diet, and I felt much healthier, but I really missed baking. So I set myself the challenge to create a chocolate cake recipe that was sugar-free and gluten-free, but tasted as good as a normal chocolate cake. And it took me 7 months to perfect it. And there was moments in there where I thought, well, maybe it's just not possible. So after 7 months, I finally had this delicious sugar-free, gluten-free chocolate cake that didn't taste like it was sugar-free, gluten-free.
And you've done such an amazing job. I mean, I've tasted them myself and the brownies are so good. You don't have to miss out because I'm recently gluten-free, and somehow you've done it because gluten-free quite often is very like chewy or heavy, and it tastes really chocolatey as well, which it doesn't just taste like you're eating a hard brick of powder, like a lot of them are.
Thank you very much. And I think that just comes down to the ingredients that I use. For example, I use almond meal instead of eating flours or gluten-free flours. And I think because it's such a natural product, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And so, all right, so you spent 7 months perfecting this recipe. What happened after that? Where did it go?
So I was bringing this chocolate cake to events that I was attending with friends and family, and a friend whose daughter has type 1 diabetes came up to me and said her daughter had tried my chocolate cake, thought it was delicious, but best of all, it hadn't spiked her blood glucose levels. And she said that this is something that was really missing in the diabetes community, and could I turn it into a packet mix so that the diabetes community could bake it at home. So
amazing.
I worked really closely with the diabetes community. I was really lucky to have their support, and I guess they kind of let me use them as guinea pigs, and I was able to create my packet mixes. And I'm so grateful that it was actually someone else's idea.
Yeah, amazing. And how long ago did that all start? When was the exact time that they became the packet mix?
So from about August 2017, for the rest of the year, I was working on turning it into a packet mix, learning about packaging and barcodes, and all that side of it that I've never had to look into before.
And what challenges did you find came up in that process? Because obviously, you're an expert at making the products, but what challenges did you come up with in terms of labeling? Because I know with food, you've got a lot of regulations and things. How did you find that process?
Absolutely. That was really challenging, especially because the information that's out there is quite ambiguous. It's almost like you have to figure it out for yourself, and they don't really want to be too specific because they don't want it to come back onto them. They need you to be onerous for it. And, just silly issues like I wanted the most like a paper bag, but then the oils from the almond meal was absorbed by the paper bag, so then it was wet. So just learning what type of packaging was best for me. Yes, absolutely trying to make sure I stuck to all the guidelines that the Australian government have in terms of labelling. Although that's something that I'm really passionate about as well. I think we need more transparency on our food labelling. And more education too on how to read labels.
Yeah. And so how long was that process then from you perfected it, you knew you wanted to make it into a packet mix? How long did that process then take in terms of, because were you manufacturing it in the beginning still, or did you go straight to the manufacturer?
No, so I was packaging it all up myself for the first 18 months. So it took about, from deciding I wanted to turn it into a packet mix, it took about 5 months of just, getting all the packaging and labelling and barcode correct and accurate. And so I was able to launch the packet mix on February 2018. And the first 18 months I was packaging it myself at a commercial kitchen. And, which was a really great experience because I think it taught me a side of it that is really important to know. And so now I have a manufacturer. I know what kind of questions to ask because I've been there myself.
Yeah. Awesome. And I think that's something really important for everyone to take away, is that when we go to outsource things, it is really important to understand that process before we go straight into outsourcing, because, your manufacturer is over east. You're not there every day seeing what they're doing, but just having that understanding of the process and what you need done and how you want it done as well, because they might do things in a different way. So having that understanding is super important to not only have the best interest of your business always there, but to help control and manage every step of the journey as well.
Yes, absolutely. Having that understanding really helps with the control. As you said, you know what questions to ask, and you understand the language that they're using, and it makes sure that your product is the quality that you want it to be.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so now I want to jump into what was the process like in terms of then getting the product out there. So I know you mentioned you involved the diabetes community quite closely, but what was the next step in terms of getting your product in the hands of people all over Australia and, internationally as well?
So it really, working closely with the diabetes community for me was the key. I was going to diabetes events. There's the JDRF1 walk every year. I would have a stall there. I would put samples in goodie bags at diabetes events. And because I didn't want to waste my budget, I was doing a lot of these free and low-cost strategies to reach my target audience and my key audience. Yeah. And because it was such a specific audience, it was very easy for me. I knew that I didn't need to just put an ad in a newspaper and reach everyone. If I went to these very specific events, then I could speak directly to the audience.
Absolutely. And there's a few key things that you mentioned in there that I think everyone can take away from, is having a niche audience. Now you've sort of expanded a little bit into sort of the keto and just, general health and gluten-free and things. These people can definitely still have it, but you still definitely do target, a lot of marketing towards those communities specifically. So that first tip is awesome, which I'm not sure if you did that on purpose, but it's definitely something that a lot of people don't do, and they sort of want to just be for everyone, because you could have just gone as broad as anything. It is gluten-free, it is low sugar, and low sugar was a real hype, at that time as well. And it was kind of just everyone was jumping onto that bandwagon. Yes, definitely. And so you could have very easily jumped on to that bandwagon and, went for everyone. But because you had that niche audience, you've become the go-to person in that audience for those people. So that's awesome. Secondly, I love free marketing. So free marketing is the best way to do things early on. You don't have to spend a ton of money, but you do just have to get around. And in the beginning, it's probably more that you'll use your time rather than money. And so as you grow, you might start to invest more money. But in the beginning, you have to kind of hustle and get around and network and meet the right people. And that takes time, but it is free and it can be very effective. So those are two main key takeaways I just wanted to point out for everyone, because it's very helpful in early stages in the business to understand those.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with more with everything that you've said.
Yeah, awesome. All right. And so how did you find that journey in getting the message out there? Because I know with a lot of my clients, when they first launch and when they start, it can be a slow burn. And I experienced that in my own business. Sometimes you just have to keep going, and that success or that, that marketing tactic might just be around the corner that really catapults your brand. So how did you find that in the beginning? Was it a bit more of a slow burn, or did it really just take off because you were filling such a niche gap in the market?
I think the moment for me where it did take off was when the keto community found me, because that is such a big movement at the moment. And something that I find about the keto community is they are so vocal. So they will share a lot on Instagram and social media about my products, because they're so excited to have found a product that they like. So I think that that's kind of a real key is, and it does kind of come back to you can't please everyone, and if you try to please everyone, you please no one. If you have an excellent product that suits few people, then they'll shout it out for you and they'll share it for you because they're so excited to have found this amazing product. Whereas if it's just an average product that suits everyone, people aren't excited to talk about it.
Definitely. I mean, they might try it once and then that will kind of be it. So that customer advocacy and customer loyalty is super powerful, and you've just done an amazing job at creating a product that really does fit that gap. But I think, something that I think is key is that you didn't launch to the keto community, and you said, it took some time and then it sort of catapulted from there. And I think that's, again, the key. You launch and then you kind of tweak and adjust and try things and see what works and see what doesn't work. And now you know that, okay, the keto community, so now you probably didn't have keto on your packaging to start with, but now you've got that on your packaging going forward, and really just targeting those audiences as well is something that you've learned along the journey.
Yeah, so I'm almost in my third year of business. And it's been a slow 3 years, but it's been learning along the way and improving along the way. And yes, so now I've added keto to my packaging for the keto community to be able to identify it easily. And I'm happy with that journey because I think it's helped me understand my customers best and audience best and make sure that my product is the best that I can make it.
Yeah, definitely. And so on that, did you ever have any feedback from customers and tweak your mixes and your recipes?
I've listened to the customers to create new recipes. So in terms of the recipes or the packets that I already have, I'm definitely my own harshest critic. And when I'm developing the recipes, I often have people say to me, "Oh, they're good enough," and I'm like, "No, they're not." So I'm definitely my own harshest critic, but I definitely listen to my customers to find out what new products they want. So I already have a soft chocolate chip cookie, which is kind of like a shortbread, and I had a huge amount of feedback saying they wanted a crunchy cookie. So this year I launched a crunchy cookie. I heard a lot of people were saying that they really miss donuts, so I've created a donut mix. So absolutely listening to my customers, listening to their feedback, listening to their wants and needs to help me create products that they are missing and wanting.
Yeah, and that's awesome. So how do you sort of tap into that? Do you use social media, or do you have DMs or emails with them? How do you sort of tap into that? Because I think, as business owners, sometimes people get on social media, they post, and then they go and do something else. They get back on their laptop. But I think it's really key these days more than ever to build those relationships personally. So how do you work with your clients on that?
Definitely. Social media is a huge part of it. I speak to a lot of people, especially through Instagram, to the point where, I don't just know their Instagram handle, I know their personal name. And they know mine as well. Mine, it's 180 Cakes, created by Cara. So people often will reach out to me and say, "Hey, Cara." So we really have that personal connection, so that they do feel comfortable saying, "Oh, I need a crunchy chocolate biscuit." And we can have these open communication and open feedback, because it just helps my business be better.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, awesome. So I want to switch gears a little bit. So we've been working together for about 6 months now, and you found me through my last challenge, which I'm launching a new challenge next week. So maybe just for those who have maybe never done coaching or are not sure if it's for them, maybe if you could share a little bit about our journey and what made you sort of decide to get a coach and work together, and share your experience.
So I wanted a coach because I'm great at baking, I'm great at recipe development, they're my strong suits. But when it comes to running a business and understanding business, that's all new and foreign to me. So I wanted to find someone who that's their area of expertise. I did your Scale to Success challenge, and it was just jam-packed with valuable information. I couldn't believe how generous you were with your knowledge, and that's why I chose you to work with. I really
thank you.
The value that you gave was immense, and something I hadn't come across before. Yeah. And so I chose you to work with, but and what I've gotten from our journey this last 6 months is you keep me accountable. Business, the day-to-day of business can just be so overwhelming that then you don't grow the business. So, you make sure that I've got tasks set that I need to achieve that are outside just the day-to-day, and then I'm accountable to you. So that's really helping to grow the business. And it's also great to have someone to bounce ideas off of. And you're always easily contactable between our sessions, so I can shoot you an email or a text and just check that I'm on the right track with something, or if I have a question about something. I highly recommend to everyone whose area of expertise is not business to get a business coach, because we especially small business, we so often go into business because we are great at the product or the service that we're providing. And business is just so foreign and unknown that, but find someone that's their area of expertise so that you can help your business grow and be the best it can be.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome tip for anything, I guess. If you're lacking in a certain area, find that expert who can fill that gap for you, because there's no point trying to sit there and work it out. If I was trying to develop a cake mix, we'd be here for 25 years or probably never figure it out. So, I'm not going to go out and do something that isn't my area of expertise. And if I was going to make a cake mix, I would chat to you and we would go down that route. So I think that's key in anything in business. Don't sit there getting frustrated and trying to work through things that just aren't working. It's just going to eat up your time. You're going to waste money making mistakes and things. And I've made my fair share of mistakes. I think we all have. But hiring an expert in those areas can help you bridge that gap, but also get you there sooner, based on the fact that you don't have to try and sit there and work it all out yourself, and saves you a lot of tears and sleepless nights as well.
Yeah, that's right. Someone's already made the mistakes for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I just wanted to point out – oh, sorry.
I was just going to mention, so my goal was to work with you 6 months ago. My goal was to double my sales, and we have achieved that in the 6 months. But my favourite part about that is that we've done that from the tips that you've given me that are free or low cost. So I haven't had to sacrifice my profit margins to increase the sales. And that's what I also love about working with you, is that you're not straight into, well, let's throw lots of money at this. Your first step was, what are some free things, like engaging in social media every day, that can help us with things.
Definitely. And I think that's amazing, because in the first 2 weeks of working together, you had huge results. You doubled your web traffic and all of these amazing things. And that is because you implemented as well, because I can give you all the tools and the strategies, but if you don't implement them, then they can't go to work. So well done on actioning every single thing I've ever given you, because that's why you've gotten the results out of this. And I'm so excited that you not only doubled your revenue, it stayed consistent. It's not just like we got this massive spike, we did all the work for 1 month, and then it's back to where it was. You're now at this new step, and then we can continue to go up from there. So it's only now, sort of at the end of the 6 months, that we're even looking into paid strategies, because I myself have run businesses and I get it. And a lot of other coaches out there might come from corporate and they know about marketing, they know about business. When I quit my corporate job and started working on my business, I was managing $500,000 budget every single month on ads at my full-time job. When I came into my business, I was like, amazing, I know how to do all these advanced strategies. I'm going to do all of them. That lasted about a week before I realized I'm losing too much money here and I've got to get creative. So that's why I always want to share my creative strategies that I've actually done in my own business that have worked, because I'm all about how can we spend less money or no money? How can we leverage partnerships or collaborations, or what can we leverage in order to get those results with as little risk and as little input as possible. And so that's what you've been able to do, which has been very exciting. Just before we sort of wrap up a little bit, I would love for you to share a little bit more about what's to come with 180 Cakes, what you have coming up, which is very exciting. And I think you've already launched the pre-orders for that.
Yes.
So give us a little sneak peek.
I am so excited. I have collaborated with Lacaco. They make amazing collagen powders. So we've combined the Lacaco gingerbread collagen powder with the 180 Cakes biscuit mix. to bring you a limited edition gingerbread collagen cookie just in time for Christmas. And yes, we've started pre-sales and orders have started to ship this week, and I'm so excited for everyone to try them.
Yes, I'm excited as well. I mean, it's such a great concept, and you have done a collaboration with this company before, and it's obviously done super well. So just to unpack this a little bit for everyone. Oh, great. And that's the key, is like relationships. We're all humans at the end of the day, and building those ongoing relationships are key. But just to break this down for everyone a little bit is that Cara has created a product with another company. So that means that they can leverage both of their audiences to build up the sales and awareness of each other's brands, but also to create this amazing product just in time for Christmas. You've worked together on your marketing plans, and so it means you can leverage each other's influence and databases, but also knowledge and expertise in your different kinds of products as well. So it's such an awesome idea. Yeah. Definitely. So I'm a big fan of collaborations, as you know. So I think it's such an amazing way for you to be able to build business and just gain more awareness out there as well. So excited to see all of the creations start coming through and everyone starting to make their gingerbread. I'm getting excited. It's very close to Christmas already.
I know, so festive. We'll be seeing lots of little gingerbread people very shortly.
Awesome. Well, was there anything else you would like to leave people with? If you had one tip or one quote or one thought that you want to leave everyone with, what would that be?
Absolutely. And this is something that I think was probably lesson one of your Scale to Success challenge, is that mindset is key. Running a business is full of challenges and disappointments and struggles, no matter what, for everybody. So mindset is everything, and that's something that you really strongly enforce to everyone. Mindset is key, and it really is. It's the key to overcoming these challenges. So, thank you, Jess. I honestly can't thank you enough, and I'm really looking forward to our next 6 months together.
Yes, I am so excited to continue working just on that topic of mindset. So I 100%. Mindset is the number one thing. What would you say has been the biggest shift in your mindset, or like difference of perspective? Like, what's been one of your big breakthroughs in terms of mindset that you could share with people?
Yeah, so I always knew that mindset was important. And so a big one for me is confidence. So I would always say, I will be more confident. But you said to me, put it into the present tense. I am more confident. That tiny little shift in language was huge.
Because what that tells your brain is, if you say, I will be confident, it tells your brain, I'm not currently confident. So your brain in subconscious works in weird ways. You have to convince it that you already are in order to get there. And I use those affirmations all the time if I'm feeling nervous or if I'm stressed about something, if something's out of my control, I'll go back to those. So I'm so glad you shared that tip, because it is super powerful to use my I ams, and that could be anywhere in life, it's really powerful to shift that straight away.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think there was so many little nuggets that you shared with everyone here. I hope you all get so much out of it. And thank you so much for joining me, Cara. I will be speaking to you soon. But thanks for joining me on Couch Chats today.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. That was such an awesome chat. I hope you all got so much out of that. Please always share to your stories, and don't forget to tag me at jess.williamson8, as well as tagging Cara at 180 cakes. I hope you all enjoyed that episode, and don't forget to subscribe so we can keep this podcast going. Have an amazing day.